Hi guys, and welcome to Town Hall episode 17. Today we have a special guest, but let's start with the normal crew. Whoa, these positions are weird. Kevin, you're so far
It's
away
all
from
messed
me.
up. Is it me first? Is it me first?
I remember
I guess
you.
so.
Oh, wait, no,
Straight
hold
to the
on.
right of
I
me.
remember you.
Straight to the right of me, it's Mr. Omega Black Mage. Corey, how you doing, man?
Yo, doing pretty good. Doing pretty good. Been playing lots of Street Fighter. Ultra just dropped. It's a good game. It's a lot of fun. They did a lot of balancing. Buffed up my character, so I'm pretty stoked. And been playing Heroes, because that game's pretty sick too, I guess. Alright, that's it.
Pretty solid game. Well, above him, we have Kevin, new MLG employee. Mr. Sham2, how you doing, man?
Doing pretty well. Got a new job, so that's cool. So now I'm going to be going into esports, which is my life and passion. Doing pretty much the same thing that I do for my current job, but no longer at my current job, which, you know, is not as happy as MLG. And did a whole bunch of work, and we're now on iTunes, and you can search for us. And what? We have an RSS feed. I don't know what that does, but a lot of people wanted it. And we have audio only, so now I can listen to Zoya be wrong about stuff all the time.
So sick. And the website?
It's
One word,
pretty
mule,
nice.
Kevin. Mule.
Mule's great.
No, no.
Great.
I should have made that. We should have made that a discussion point. But I'm done.
Meal's great. Meal's great.
Mule is great. Above me, we have another MLG employee and a guy who's trying to make a best of 11 happen. Jake, what's up, man?
Yeah, well, we can the best of 11 at Anaheim, but it's been a busy week for everybody. I mean, E3, a lot of news, a lot of cool stuff, and a lot of Smash news. I went and played the new game today. That was exciting, I guess. It's not everything I hope and dreamed for, but we'll see. It's okay. It's not terrible, but yeah. Lots not a lot of stuff going on in the Heroes world, but there's actually a lot we're going to talk about today, so.
Yeah, and helping us talk about that is our special guest, first time on the show, Mr. DunkTrain. Go ahead and introduce yourself, and yeah.
All right. Hey guys, DunkTrain here. I guess I'm just doing Heroes stuff. Like, I don't know, you guys are having cool stuff happening in your lives, and I'm just sitting here playing Heroes of the Storm. I actually did some
cool.
shoutcasting practice today, so I'll be seeing some YouTube videos go up with that later, if anyone's interested.
Very good.
Nice.
Well, let's dive into the show. We got a decent amount to talk about. First thing, we're just going to do a huge analysis on the hero Witch Doctor. For those that don't know, before the movement speed patch, all I played was Witch Doctor. Like 90% of my games were Witch Doctor. I love him. He's awesome. But most recently, I have not been playing him a lot because, you know, other heroes are also awesome. So let's just break down Witch Doctor. Kevin, you want to go ahead and go over his abilities and what he does?
Oh, darn it. I closed that window just again. 1 second. 1 second. Production values.
Correct me if I'm
this
wrong.
Is what happens. This is what happens when I just join MLG.
You've done this every week. This
Production
isn't a new thing. You
know.
close it
He's,
every
he's
week.
free this week, right? He's one of the free heroes?
Yes, he is free this week.
How
so that is
amazing is our predictive
the
patterns.
timing. Yeah, the timing is great. So Witch Doctor is a specialist. He's from Diablo. He's got the trait of Voodoo Ritual, which is a combat trait. Ability and attack damage poison enemies for 20 plus 4 per level damage over 4 seconds. If a poison enemy dies, the Witch Doctor regenerates 1% of health and 1% of mana. His 3 standard abilities are Corpse Spiders, which is on his Q. It's an area of effect attack. Deals 40 damage on impact and creates 3 Corpse Spiders that deal 10 damage per hit. Spiders last for 4 seconds, and they kind of chase after things. Zombie Wall, which is on his W, which is another area of effect, creates a ring of zombies around the target area that deal 18 damage and last for 3 seconds. And then Plague of Toads, which is a cone attack in front of him, which creates 5 toads that deal 30 damage upon contact, and the toads kind of explode in this really gross thing. Toads explode.
Make great noises.
Yeah. It's gross. Anyway, he's got 2 heroic abilities. He's got Gargantuan, which is on a 60-second cooldown, deals 30 damage in the area and creates a Gargantuan that attacks for 35 plus 15 per level per hit. The Gargantuan stomps nearby enemies for 30 plus 15 per level damage, slowing their movement by 30%. The Gargantuan grabs enemy minions, increasing his attack damage by 20% for the next 3 attacks. So he's basically like a nerfed and a little bit different Grave Golem, kind of a Grave Golem on command. The other one is Ravenous Spirit, with a cooldown of 90 seconds. Summons a Ravenous Spirit for 8 seconds, deals 50 damage, plus 18 per level damage per second. The Witch Doctor has to channel the spell, so he can't actually move, and he controls the ability by clicking, like a normal hero.
They changed the name. It's Ravenous Souls now.
Oh, it's Ravenous Souls now? Really?
They're very slow with opening the tooltips, but I wouldn't doubt it.
Of course. Anyway, so, yeah. Oh god, no, I've got the ice cream truck?
Yo.
Can't hear it.
Anyway, so that's Nazeebo.
Yep.
He's used to be Nazeeba, now he's Nazeebo.
Which makes me
It's
angry
a change we're all still trying to get used to.
Nah, I like Gazebo's better.
Gazebo.
Gazebo.
Eventually. DunkTrain, what are your just initial thoughts on the hero Witch Doctor? Do you think he's viable? What's his goal?
Has he played him? Have you played Nazeebo at all?
Yeah, I was actually a huge Witch Doctor player before the Movement Speed patch, just like Zoya had said. And I think the thing that actually gripped me about Witch Doctor was, I think he's the most thematically complete hero on the roster right now. Like, he's the only hero where I play the hero, and I feel like all the sounds, all the visuals, all the thematics of the abilities actually line up and make me feel like I'm playing a Witch Doctor. Like, I love the way he comes together thematically. Aside from his balance portion, I have some other things to say about that.
I agree completely. I was a Witch Doctor main in Diablo 3, and everything's spot on with the theme. They did a good job with that.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts on him? Go ahead, Kev.
Well, I was gonna say, I think he's really awesome that way too. I was actually kind of thinking about that because I've just recently been able to start playing him once he hit free week, because I don't have him. He's like the only specialist I don't have. But you're quite right. Actually, I never really thought about it that way. For some reason, his experience felt like complete and it made sense, and that's totally it. He's got.
It's hard to put words to, right? It's hard to put words to. It feels like you're fleshing out. Like, I want to be a Witch Doctor. Like, this is how it should feel. It feels like you're actually fleshing that out.
I think overall they did a pretty good job capturing all of the Diablo characters as to how they should feel as just a core character in Heroes of the Storm.
Yeah. Ish. I don't know. Barb is. Because she doesn't.
Barb.
Yeah, Barb's great, don't get me wrong, but like the Whirlwind is like pretty much useless right now. And that's a huge deal with Barbs. Barbs love their Whirlwind, they love spinning and winning.
Really,
So
I would say Barb's biggest flaw right now is her auto attack speed. It feels very clunky and doesn't feel like she's,
We are talking Witch Doctor here.
Anyway, Anyway.
Thank you, Jared.
Okay, so my thoughts on Witch Doctor.
Good job, Jared.
Very strong hero. I really liked him before the patches of move speed. I think he's still slightly just as strong as, just the only thing that I think really hurt him was his zombie spell. And after this last patch where they fixed Ravenous Souls, his ult is back to being very strong.
Now, did they change the move speed on Gargantuan as well?
No.
I don't think so.
But that was never really supposed to be...
Yeah.
That's the thing, though. Ravenous Spirit, Souls, whatever it is supposed to be like a team fight spell, where Gargantuan's more of like a pushing kind of spell. And Nazeebo is another one of those heroes, kind of like Tychus, where if you're playing solo queue and you're actually really good at the hero, you can kind of fill any role you need to fill. Damage, maybe not so much. Tank, maybe not so much. But like, I'm talking about like objectives-wise, you can either be really good in team fights or be a really good split pusher if your team needs you to be. He's also got the mule ability too, so I mean that's just an instant win in my book.
Stop.
So
just to give a little background, give a little background right now. We played all together last night, and I think the night before, and I've been nonstop going on about Mule, and Jared absolutely hates me for it. He likes Mule, but I'm just saying, if you have the ability to get Mule, you should always get Mule no matter what. And he's saying not, and I'm just angering him every time I mention Mule now. Anyway, continuing on. So,
he is a little bit worse than he was before the movement speed buff. Not like in the sense that he got a direct nerf because they did rebuff Ravenous Souls, but it is harder to hit your zombie wall just because people move faster, so they can dodge it a little bit easier. That goes for every hero. Yeah. So he's back to where he was before in my eyes. He's one of the few heroes that are great at multiple things. He can be in a really good backdoor, and he can also be really powerful in team fights, good at zoning people. Like Ravenous Souls is just you have to run from it. You can't just stand there and be like, oh, whatever. You can zone one person out of the fight. It's kind of like an ultimate that's a barbarian. They have to get away from it. And I don't know, he's not top tier like I used to originally think. I played him so much at the start and thought he was god tier, but he's definitely up there. He's definitely up there. He's very good, and he has his purposes. And both ults are work really well too. Just you have to know how to use them, which is cool because that's not the case with a lot of heroes.
The thing about Witch Doctor is there's nothing bad about him. Like everything about him feels like it has its place in the game.
Well, just damage. He does alright at everything but damage.
His damage isn't great, but the damage over time can add up.
Yeah. His damage is not trash, but he has no escape mechanism, man. It makes him so vulnerable to all
has
the sticky assassins.
You can't escape with it if you're good enough with it, but it's situational, that's for sure.
Well, typically, if you started a fight, you've probably used that to engage.
Yeah.
So it's like you find yourself quickly in a position where you need to leave, you have nothing.
Yeah.
Because it's got at least a 10-second cooldown. I forget what it is exactly, but
I've really stopped using the wall as to try and trap somebody like in the circle because I mean, at least for the 6 games I played last night, or 5 or 6 games I played last night, it was impossible to get anybody in the wall unless you really caught them unaware or you're really good at timing and they're really.
I got really good at it. I think it's still like.
I've been using it as more of like a force field, like just like they're trying to run away. I'm gonna put the wall right in front of them. Doesn't matter if I catch them in the middle. They're gonna be stopped.
I use it the opposite. I usually initiate otherwise, and once they come aggressive, I put it down and try to force them forward or backwards. So I never initiate with the wall personally. Unless I know I can get the kill, it depends on the situation.
Even with the wall, though, if it's 1v2 and Witch Doctor's caught alone, he has no outs. Like, you can get sprint,
right, or
which is useful. But an ice block is not really an out. That's more of like, you're in a team fight, people dive on you, let's ice block and hope that my teammate team can get them off me before it's up, and then I can get away. But he doesn't have, like DunkTrain said, if Witch Doctor gets caught, if Witch Doctor gets hooked, 90% of the time he is going to die. And that's where his major weakness is. Which is cool, though, because that makes him a positioning-based hero. That's where the skill is in with him. And, obviously you don't want to get caught on them. Yeah. So don't. Yeah. Let's go into talents, because he's also one of those few heroes that I feel you can build lots of different ways. It's really stylistically how you want to play him. And I think that's where the fun it's going to be. Again, we're going to do the interactive... little posting of the what is the little polls we do?
Straw polls.
Straw polls.
Oh, I got them ready.
You guys want to interact in chat? Oh, also, if you guys have questions for DunkTrain or any of us on the show, if we have time at the end, go ahead and post your questions in the Reddit thread.
Why won't it let me vote?
You don't get a vote.
Wow, that's weird. I clicked that link, and that link it might be bad. Bad.
Oh, you posted results, man.
Oh, GG.
Oh yeah, that'll do it.
Whoops. Oh.
Somebody fixed it.
Worst Corey ever.
Fixed it.
Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness.
Corey, you didn't even join MLG and you're messing up.
Alright, so let's talk about these.
So there's 2 different ways, you can either go the pushing or the team fighting one. I mean, if you're going to go the pushing one, more often than not, you're going to be getting demolitionists. I don't think anyone rolls a bribe anymore. I think that's just kind of
bribes.
Yeah, not many
tossed
people.
aside.
Bribes bad.
So it really comes down to blood ritual versus death ritual. Most of the time, I just take demolitionist anyway, because at one point you're always going to be pushing, and it's always helpful. If not, though, I tend to go death ritual.
Yeah,
I tend to go
incredible.
Yeah, death ritual's insane after the buff. I tend to go blood ritual on the Haunted Mines map because I feel like in the 2-lane map you don't get as much time in a lane, so you aren't able to stack death ritual as much. But that's typically the only time I don't get death ritual is on Haunted Mines.
What if you're the guy that has to go down? He's actually pretty good at clearing, and you'll
good
get
at
a lot of
clearing,
stacks
actually.
doing that. So I find that actually I like playing on Haunted Mines because I'm like, oh sweet, I can go down, collect a bunch of stacks, come back up, I'm like super buff. Nobody can take me out.
That's a good point. I never thought of it that way.
Yeah.
Yeah, actually, I never thought about it that way either.
Yeah, I first read the trait and I was like, oh, it sounds really bad because the way they word it, it makes it sound like you have to kill it with the poison that it has. And then I was like noticing that I was getting way too many stacks when I first started using it. I was like, oh, it just has to have poison on it when it dies. It doesn't have to die from the poison, which makes it way better. So
yeah.
Pretty much 100% of the time I run Death Ritual.
Demolition is still very good, though.
It is, yeah. If you're running a dedicated push strat. If I find that like I'm not actually going to be the guy that has to do that, then I will always take Death Ritual.
Yeah.
But
I can't disagree.
Yep, so, again, just a really solid tier where everything but Bribe has a place.
Yeah,
definitely.
Sure.
Hey, so I was thinking, would 60 total on Bribe be broken?
So that you could get 3 nights?
Yeah.
I think
that's too good.
I think let's save that discussion for maybe later on in the show.
It's a good question. That's a good Koobie's question. Way to waste it.
All right, fine. We'll revisit it during.
We'll revisit the ride.
Okay, all right.
So let's move on to tier 2 of the Witch Doctor talents.
All right. Poll is up. All right. I pretty much take Venom every game.
See,
it doesn't scale that well.
Yeah, that's the only thing. Like, I go with Venom on Arthas because he needs that boost of damage in the earlier levels. But with Nazeebo, I don't really find that that's much of a problem, and he's already got enough poison spells. So I actually go for Spider Cluster because Spiders does decent amount of damage no matter what you're doing. If you're laning, if you're fighting in a team fight, just throw the Spiders at the very back of the team or take out half a lane.
I mean, and Venom scales pretty badly, so I don't like to get in Venom. I think Nazeebo was one of the few characters I might consider it, but I still don't like it on him personally. But I would probably agree with Spider Cluster, unless I want to try to really jungle Crazy Heart. I wonder how Minion Killer would affect Haunted Mines. I can't say I've tested it myself. Have you guys tried that at all?
Just the one time we were doing the crazy specialist build, I was doing a Minion Killer, and it was kind of nice, but
yeah,
I feel like Minion Killer's really only got its place for Gazlo.
Murky.
Dunk.
And Murky.
Dunk, what are your thoughts on this tier?
I actually pretty much always pick in Venom. The problems I have with Spider Cluster is Spider Cluster feels very win more. The only time it's actually relevant, in my opinion, is pushing towers, because against heroes, anybody who's walking even every once in a while is going to get hit very rarely by the spiders, and I've never found the extra spiders to actually deal meaningful damage. And I feel like enough people are still undervaluing the possibility of Envenom on enough heroes where, like, you'll be in a duel with a 1v1 and toss out an Envenom, and people just aren't taking that into account yet. It's possible once people take into account, like, the extra Envenom damage, like, it'll become less relevant, but so many people just aren't playing at the level where they're like, oh, he could have Envenom, I should back out a little early or whatever.
Yeah, because it's instantaneous, right? So it's sort of like when you have that heal like off cooldown, and it's just like, oh, you thought you were about to kill me, and then Stitches goes up and eats you, and then like all of a sudden he's got 3rd health, and you're like, okay, I just lost because I overextended really hard. Yeah, no, that's good.
We all know how I feel about Envenom. I think it's overhyped and don't like it, but I always get it on Witch Doctor.
Yeah,
and I've started taking it on Arthas a bit more, but I always take Envenom on Witch Doctor. Oh. Not a big fan of Spider Clusters.
I'm alone.
No, I went with Spider Clusters as well. So,
okay.
So MLG people are just dumb apparently.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. We can agree with that.
I said Envenom has its place on Witch Doctor and Witch Doctor alone, but I don't get it on any other hero myself.
After Kevin preached to me for like 45 minutes about Envenom on Arthas, I started going it a bit more.
Really?
I can see it.
Let's do Arthas next week. Let's say that right now. I really want to hear this.
Much Arthas.
I really want to hear what you guys have to say about Arthas.
Arthas is awesome.
Yeah,
Arthas is awesome.
We're getting
the 2 heroes. There's 2 heroes you guys argue about constantly. It's Arthas and it's Tyrael. So whenever we do those 2 guys,
we argue about Tyrael because he's stupid. But
anyways,
please spare me. Let's go on for days about that.
All right, let's move on to tier 3.
Yeah. I need to actually read these straw polls.
So this is a tier that I personally find myself just flip-flopping back and forth on because it's hard to see the impact. But I float between, it depends on what I'm going late game. If I get the uprooting zombies, I'll go Fresh Corpses. If not, I'll go Gidbin.
I love Gidbin here. I think Gidbin is fantastic.
Yeah.
It does a little bit, but it's like all of your abilities. It's super sweet.
It's great.
But,
I mean, the duration on Zombie Wall on it is insane too. I think even if you're going uprooting zombies, I think Gidbin is better because you get more duration, and I would argue that the duration is more relevant than their damage.
I didn't read that.
Cav, you voted for Mule?
Hell yeah, I did.
I can see that right now.
I didn't see that it increased the duration, and I didn't put the connection together that it would increase the zombie wall time. And I think probably knowing that now, I might actually switch my vote.
I do get Gidbin more often than not, but I do like playing with the increased damage of Zombie Wall, because zombies do a surprising amount of damage, especially against noobs that just kind of like,
walk up against the wall.
let
The
me
ones
out.
who walk against the wall and just
It
let
blows
like
my
half of the
mind,
wall
man.
hit them is like insane.
I love it.
Yeah.
Fresh Corpses is very good. That's for sure.
Yeah, that's what I've been running. But now, yep. After reading
Gidbin's
that,
definitely-
Gidbin's definitely got a place for sure.
I
Yeah,
mean,
they're
an argument
both
could be
good.
made for Mule and Clairvoyance too. Both of those are high impact. I think it depends
Oh,
on
yeah.
the matchup and who else on your team can grab them.
Absolutely.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, so that's the point I was going to say is Clairvoyance is actually becoming a really great spell for me to be grabbed lately, just because you will know exactly what they're doing, like if you think, or exactly where they're positioned.
Yeah.
And you get that reveal on all the people that you've clairvoyanced for how many ever seconds.
A long time.
Incredibly useful.
It's actually
yeah.
a long time. It cripples
like-
stealths.
Like,
It's like 5 or 10 seconds. It's ridiculous.
so,
Yeah.
I mean, the thing is, like, once we get into competitive heroes, you're always going to have 1 or 2 people running Clairvoyance because it's that good. Having that map awareness is so good, especially on maps where there's an objective. Oh, wait, that's all maps. So
Yeah.
we're going to see a lot of Clairvoyance.
Yeah,
expect
I think Uther has a tier where it's like there's nothing really else that's good, so I always end up running Clairvoyance.
Yeah,
Anytime I'm playing Uther, it feels so useful. I'm just like, yeah, we have like this edge on that. Like we would know exactly where they are, what they're doing, where they're coming in from. So if you know where to place it, it's good.
Once good people start playing the game, like getting really like into the competitive atmosphere of it, we're going to be seeing talents like Clairvoyance and Cleanse picked a lot more. Right now, you know, there are a very small handful of people that take those, but once it starts getting really competitive and people start synergizing with their teammates better, Cleanse and Clairvoyance are going to be picked all the time.
Now, I'm very...
It's the problem with like in League when people or any real game where you can get items or something like that. It's people are like, oh, I can get more damage, or I can get this thing that doesn't like I can't really put a money worth on right now. Like supports who don't buy rewards or exactly. You don't see the immediate impact, but when you get right down to it, having Mule or Clairvoyance just completely changes how the game is played, because if they're trying to like kind of peck around your whole entire your 3 forts in the beginning, Mule can negate that. Or if they're roaming as 5 and you need to know exactly where they are or what risky play you're about to do, Clairvoyance will save you from that.
Exactly.
Yeah.
They're both very good, and they're just nice. It's a nice reactionary thing about the game for strategy, because if you see they're running, Zeratul, you're running Nova, I mean, Clairvoyance is double as efficient. It's double as useful. And you got Murky in the other team. They're going to be pushing with Hammer or whatever. Mule, same thing. But
you know what? Looking at this tier, this is a very good poster child for a well-balanced tier.
Yeah.
Stuff where it's like
overall.
everything is like
The
matchup
character in
map
general.
specific. It's like you just look at this tier, you're like, I can see a use for all of these, legitimate use for all of these things.
Even between Fresh Corpses and Gidbin, if I were to be going for some sort of pushing build, I'd be going for Fresh Corpses, because putting that W around a building, you can just...
Well, that's just Witch Doctor, like, throughout the entirety of all of his tiers. Like,
Yeah.
there's not a single tier where it's like, you always get this one, no matter what. He's a very well-rounded hero.
Well, hero, right?
It's not really so much that. Like, there are a lot of tiers where it's like you take this or this, maybe. This tier is like they're all good. All 4 of them are actually useful. They're like no one takes promote yet. Like no one's using that yet.
Oh, God.
Right?
I did in our silly
tried.
games.
Right? No one's using promote. So that's a tier where it's like, yeah, it's good, but there's some stuff on it that no one really uses. But this one, there's something to use for a lot of situations.
So just to clarify, when we say our silly games, we've referenced it like 2 or 3 times now. The other night, the 4 of us were playing with another friend of ours, and we were running the 5 specialist build with really, really, really bad talents. And I think we had 4 mules one game.
We had 3 mules, and they couldn't kill the palace.
And we
took a while.
just sat there for like 10 minutes, just keeping our palace topped off, and it was really dumb but really fun. So
it was quite silly. I enjoyed it.
No, it was not fun, because Kevin kept screaming mule in my ear every 30 seconds.
He didn't do a lot of mule yelling. But
Anyway.
Let's move on to the heroics.
Yes.
Since he is free this week, 90% of the people who are new to Witch Doctor and new to just the game and solo queue take Ravenous Souls, but there is a place for Gargantuan, and it is useful in that place. It's not like you can make it work, but Ravenous Souls is going to usually be better. Gargantuan has a place, and it's really good for pushing, and it can be used in team fights sometimes, but...
Wait a minute. hold on. Soldier in chat just said, I personally like to promote my Gargantuan. Is that possible?
Oh.
Promote your Gargantuan?
I have played a lot against Soldier when he's running Gargantuan, so if anyone's going to know that, it's him. And if that's possible, then that's wicked.
That's very
that's actually
cool.
pretty
Thank
cool.
you. Thank you, Soldier. I want to try that.
I am totally trying that tonight.
He trolled us.
Son of a
Oh, man, dude.
I was
was
looking
so
at that.
excited.
Oh,
I was
man.
hoping that there was going to be like some glitch. In fact, when you could blood for blood, the Grave Golem.
Yeah.
Yeah. He's
Anyway.
I believed him because I played against Soldier's Witch Doctor a lot. I thought he was being
Soldier's
serious.
good. He's good. So it's certainly reasonable for him to have found that. But mega troll.
Not-
Anyway, but no, I've been grabbing Gargantuan. Okay, so I know Ravenous Spirit is absolutely amazing.
Souls.
Oh yeah, Ravenous Souls.
Well,
sorry.
it says spirit in the
In the
tooltip,
shuffle.
so
Anyway.
we can't be
Anyway.
wrong here, I guess.
It's a great spell. It does so much damage. In fact, actually, a lot of people I've been talking about compositions for scrims. What did they use? And a lot of them have been saying that actually Witch Doctor does have a place because they can get that Ravenous Souls, and it does so much damage. However, I've been using Gargantuan in my solo queue just because now I can just solo push a lane. And as soon as you get to level 20, it gets only better.
Yeah, but most people don't, like in solo queue, don't just solo push a lane. Most people are actually doing objectives. It's more of like a safety net for the new players of Witch Doctor. Souls is going to be, better. And you don't have to, like, I see so many Witch Doctors, they run up to people in melee range and then use the Souls. It has a very long range, and it can chase forever, guys. You don't have to be, in a fight.
especially at 20. Like, it goes on for days. Like,
A lot of people make the mistake of channeling Ravenous Spirits like in a position where they're obvious, but you can be over a wall and channel it. You can be way behind your team, channel it, and just use 1 second of the duration to run it into the team fight. Like, you do not need to be in a vulnerable position when you channel this thing. It's insane how long the range is.
and you get like a giant target on your face as soon as you do it. People just everyone just go in on this, and then you have to cancel. Oh no, 80 seconds.
It was greatest when I was playing Diablo all the time. It's just like, oh look, here I can shadow charge that guy.
Yep.
Now he's useless.
It's really good at, like, you have to run from the souls, or the spirit, whatever it's called.
Oh, you have to. You absolutely have to.
So if there's a high priority target like a demon hunter or a Falstad, you can zone them out of the fight just by chasing that one target. They will be out, like, with vaults and tumbles and stuff. You will be able to outrun it, but they'll keep running from it, and you can zone them pretty well. It doesn't have to be like only use it when they're all trapped in your little zombie wall and you want to do maximum damage. Use it as a zoning tool as well. It's a very good ultimate. Heroic.
Just to give a quick idea of how much damage a full Ravenous Spirit does, it's up for 8 seconds, does 230 damage per second at level 10.
Yeah.
Which is 1,840 damage if you're using every second of that.
That's like an entire squishy hero's health.
His,
Like 100 to 0.
Nazeebo's health is 2,090 at level 10.
Yeah.
When we were first experimenting with the Wombo Combo Zeratul Gazlo stuff, we were using Witch Doctor Ravenous Spirit as part of that, just because it does do an insane amount of damage. It's not to be messed with.
Yeah.
And if people aren't running from it, go for that guy.
They're dying. They're dying. No, they're dying.
Yeah. Yeah.
My people are dying, Senator. We must do something quickly.
But yeah, Gargantuan is actually, I used to think it was the worst heroic in the game. It got a lot of buffs. It's been tweaked a lot.
It was
very It definitely does have a place. It's 60-second cooldown, so if you're going the backdoor pushing Witch Doctor, you're spamming that thing, and you can take stuff down. But most of the situation for the newer players, you want to go Ravenous Spirit, Souls.
Just you got to be careful with positioning with it. You don't want to just use it out in the open. You got to be in a safe spot because when you are using it, you are channeling it. So
yep.
Yeah.
Which you can now cancel. That was in the last patch.
Yeah,
that
is
allowed
good.
you to cancel.
That helps a lot. But then
I've had to use that a few times.
Then you're disengaging your heroic, so you want to make sure that you don't just cast it in the very front lines because you will. It's not like you're invincible while channeling it. That's for sure. So
yeah.
All right, let's go on next year.
Looks like that poll was split, by the way. People 50-50.
I didn't even click it.
Yeah, it's about 57-43 for Gargantuan. So not a Gargantuan split there.
Yep.
Ha.
Well, let's sprint on into the next tier.
Stop. You're off the show.
Wow. God, that's not going to fly at MLG, man. You better learn to stop that. You need to stop that real quick, boy.
Real quick, boy.
Real quick.
Turn down for what?
Turn down for what?
Turn down for what?
So it depends on the comp. 90% of the time, though, I go Ice Block or Sprint. It just depends on what they're doing between which I choose.
Sprint.
Yeah.
I think I would agree for competitive play, but typically in my solo queue games, I like Dead Rush just because I like looking at it. So like I don't really care if it's solo queue. I'm gonna win the game anyway, but like I'd just rather Dead Rush because it's awesome.
It is fun. It's lots of fun. I never go Toad of hugeness though.
Oh,
it's not good. It's not good.
It's bad.
I love it.
I call them Battletoads affectionately. Yes. I love it, but they're garbage. Honestly, it's one of the worst talents in the game.
That's exactly it, though. It's just one of those things. You're like, oh, that's neat. Oh, look at those things. They're getting so big. But yeah, you really want to be taking Sprint just for the reasons that we mentioned earlier, where he has very little escape options. Yeah.
So if they have a dive heavy comp or they're like jumping on you, like with an Illidan or stuff, that's when I get the ice block. But most of the time, Sprint is the better option.
And can you dive into that a little bit more? Like, would you find yourself being the initiator, like somebody who runs in, and then you just like hope that you can bait out some kind of heroic, and then ice block at the last second, then the rest of your team?
Oh no, never.
No.
So
never.
Where do you use it then?
When you get
dive you.
If you accidentally get hooked, if you get if you're just in a bad position, if Illidan jumps on you with the hunt, that's when you want to use it.
When you have ice block, like you can bait people into. A lot of people overcommit to kill the Witch Doctor because he's squishy, doesn't have an escape or whatever. Like people will overcommit. Like you'll get 2 divers on you or whatever, and then it allows your whole team of 5 to collapse back on them, really, really well with ice block. So there's a lot of value there.
Why not just take Sprint though? Other than the situations where you just get like stun locked and you might have a chance to tap out ice block, but is that really it? Or
I agree with Corey wholeheartedly because I can't see a situation where, I mean, it's such a... Sprint's going to have 10 times more situations where it's useful.
Yeah, probably. Anytime you get stunned, though, right, you can't sprint away. I guess the problem is there's no...
Well, you wouldn't be able to ice block either.
Until after. And then you have to sit there and wait and die.
True.
If you... I mean...
That's when your team comes in, though.
So the one time it's good, is when you get rooted by an Malfurion. Then you can ice block in place. But okay, all right.
Maybe.
Yeah, this is one of those is one of those weird talents where it's like you kind of see it and you're like, oh, that's kind of neat, and then you didn't really see it used too much and wasn't sure if it was actually good or not. But okay, that's cool.
Yeah, I think ice block's much better than you're thinking it is. It's definitely,
especially
against teams that like initiate on. Like it happens more often than you think. When you get initiated on, like when you're like like a team that's baiting, like or like with a Stitches hook, but a team that will come at you with like an Arthas, a Kerrigan. That's when ice block is gold. Like if you get dove on by a Kerrigan, you get pulled in. Like it happens all the time, no matter how prepared you are with Sprint.
I see.
That's ice block is great because your team peels for you. You get a pot like your Diablo. If you have a Diablo on your team, you get initiated on. You ice block. You wait for his apocalypse. They're stunned when you come out. Then you get away with it.
Well, all right. Don't misinterpret what I'm saying. Ice block has its place for sure, but I was asking about its place over Sprint.
Now I see ice block actually being a good option if you're going Gargantuan because you can summon the thing.
Going what?
Gargantuan.
I don't know.
Gargantuan.
I'm tired. It's been a long day.
Oh my goodness.
Go.
The
second heroic. G-Money.
And we have left Solid Jake broken. So that's Town Hall, everybody. No.
So the big dude that walks around, if you summon him, you can ice block. There's more synergy with that. More situations. One when someone's trying to gank you, whatever, could be useful in that. So I don't know. I still like Sprint myself.
By the way, did you ever be on like your mount and run away from your Gargantuan and it takes him like half of the game to catch back up to you because he's so slow?
Gargantuan.
Gargantuan. Anyway.
All right, let's move on to next tier.
My friend's name is Juan. Hungrybox.
That's a cool story.
Hungrybox. I'm gonna start calling him Gargantuan.
Next year.
What do I take here?
I don't even know where we are anymore.
Probably
I used to go rewind all the time, but I find myself just having mana issues when I do go rewind, so I tend to take... I used to go Infested Toads, but now I'm going Leaping Spiders. I always flip-flop between the two.
See, I go Leaping Spiders because it works with the synergy of what I picked earlier, which was...
Spider Cluster.
Yeah, Spider Cluster. Yeah. So, more spiders, more synergy, more damage.
Yeah, I think if you are going Spider Cluster, you have to go Leaping Spiders. I prefer Infested Toads. I think the amount of DPS that the Infested Toads adds on objectives like Mercs and Towers is worth it. It's just so much. 5 spiders is more than you can normally get out of the jar. Like, it's a lot of damage against immobile targets.
Yeah, no, it's definitely good. I'm just surprised you guys don't go rewind. I feel like
mana
issues, utility. Man. Yeah, I know, but if you know you're going to be getting into a team fight soon, just stock up. Like, just play around that. Like, having the two zombie walls, like, really close to each other is so solid.
So
I really don't run into too many mana issues on too many heroes, but Zoya always seems to drain his... I feel like when Zoya's playing, he's just running around, spamming all the buttons when they come up.
I maximize my abilities.
Now, I think if you're running with a Lily or Mouth, definitely get Rewind, because Rewind...
Even then, when you're running with a Lily or Mouth, there's more priority targets for Innervate than a Witch Doctor 99% of the time. So even in that case... Like, Witch Doctor, like, I'm not just saying that because I spam spells. Witch Doctor has a terrible mana pool.
No, I agree. Huh. But having the 2 zombie walls is just too good. I'm like, so shocked at this, really.
The problem with 2 zombie walls is, like, they don't stack well with each other because any AoE that destroys one is going to destroy both if you try to use them like that. And, like, to get half of the cooldown off zombie wall is not as exciting from Rewind, right, as getting a full reset. Like, it doesn't synergize with
No, that's
itself.
not really how I use it. I use it sort of like, alright, I just landed a zombie wall on this guy. I'm going to, like, rewind, and then as he's trying to run away, bam, he's into another wall.
So, no matter what, when you rewind zombie wall,
is there a 2-second gap?
Yeah, it refreshes.
Yeah.
So it won't pull it down. It'll let you cast another one. You can have 2 active simultaneously. Is what I'm asking.
I don't think that's true.
Is that possible?
I don't know if that's true.
Okay.
No.
Okay.
It's like you can immediately
it's 14 second. It's 14 second
even
cooldown,
still.
so it doesn't refresh. Like the zombies go down and the next one comes up.
Yeah, there's no way
even with rewind.
Yeah. So you still have there's a second gap, right? Lasts for 3 seconds. Yeah. So there's a second
so
gap.
So stun him for that 1 second and then get the second wall.
No, you just lead him like wherever he's got to go. You just
lead
the wall. I think it's good. I don't know. I'm surprised honestly, but okay. Interesting to hear different builds. That's cool.
It seems that the straw poll really agrees with leaping spiders.
Yeah! Champion wins!
It's fun, but what DunkTrain said about how the Infested Toad is making it easier to do merc camps and push, I like that actually a lot. And I'm going to play around with it more again. I used to use it a lot at the beginning, but now I go Leaping Spiders, but I'm definitely going to play around with Infested Toads again.
Yeah, I mean... Infested Toads is more damage than Leaping Spiders. Like, just numerically, 5 extra Toads is actually way more damage than extra Spider damage. But the downside is obviously it's useless against people who are moving.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, there have been a lot of times where, your Leaping Spiders do secure that extra kill because, they leap and they're fast and they're crazy looking. Mm-hmm. Alright, let's move on to level 20. Swift Storm for life?
Swift Storm for life. I usually take Annihilating here.
I go Annihilating or Humongoid.
I think if you went Ravenous Spirit, you can't justify not taking Annihilating. It is so good.
Yeah.
It's very good. I do find depending on the comp and how much I'm getting focus fired, sometimes I will take Bolt, but that's like 5% of the game. So most of the times, though, I do get Annihilating Spirit.
I value Bolt very highly. I think it's excellent. So I definitely understand taking it.
I've been seeing it more and more and more from players, which I definitely agree with. It's very good. But
like one of our biggest gripes earlier about Witch Doctor was his immobility, and that's when Bolt can be like the saving grace.
Yeah. I could see being. I actually probably would go with Bolt myself.
But Annihilating Spirit is just, it's a huge, like the range is increased by 50%, and then movement speed by 30%. Like nothing. Like right now, if you land it on someone and they run away, at the last few seconds they will get away. But now with the speed increase, you can chase people down, and you can make sure they never get away. Like with the Annihilating Spirit, it's so good.
Yeah, there are very few heroes who can outrun it.
Yeah. Do we know what the cooldown of Bolt is? I don't run it too often. I'm not sure.
Bolt is 40 seconds.
40 seconds.
Okay. That's not too bad.
40-second disengage or 40-second initiate. It's pretty nice.
Yeah. Okay.
It's really good.
Definitely not initiate.
Yeah, not on Witch Doctor.
Not on Witch Doctor.
Not on Diablo.
Around myself,
Diablo,
you can't get to me.
Yeah, not on Witch Doctor.
Does Diablo get Bolt?
Yeah, and it's really good.
It's so good.
It's really fun too.
Bolt in front of someone and shadow charge them into your team.
It's so sexy. It's so sexy.
Brutality.
It's like my favorite thing to do.
Rightfully so.
Anyway.
All right, so we talked about a lot about Witch Doctor. Is there anything you guys want to add to the pushing aspect of Witch Doctor? Do you value the pushing it's good, when you go the push build with Gargantuan, but do you value it more than having the team fighting Witch Doctor with the Ravenous Souls, where he's actually moving with your team and not backdooring?
It's very situational. I cannot talk
His
today.
words are so graceful.
I mean, like anything in the game, it depends on how you're trying to play the map. It's a lot of strategy involved, but it's definitely viable. It is definitely not a bad thing to do. I think Witch Doctor has a lot of flexibility. He can jungle, not she. Can jungle, can push, can team fight, can do everything really. So I think I wouldn't necessarily overvalue it. I think I would rather have a damage output Witch Doctor myself. But if I was solo queuing, I would personally probably go with the push build.
Really?
That's interesting. I actually think the opposite.
I love it. Yeah.
Oh, go ahead.
No. I think we're probably about to say the same thing. So go ahead.
Okay, so I don't think solo queue plays well with a split pusher right now. People do not understand that if you have a person split pushing, you do not want to fight. But people just bash their faces into the enemy team 4v5 anyway. So I think even if that's your only argument, I don't think you should run split push intention Witch Doctor for solo queue. It just doesn't work because people still want to fight.
I like to lose, so.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
I mean,
that's exactly what I was gonna say. No,
I agree with both Corey and DunkTrain. It does have a place.
Honestly, looking at how scrims have been going, and I've been trying to watch as many of the scrims as I could. I don't really see the prominence of split pushers really working out ever.
Yeah.
You always want to be team of 5, and if you're not, then you're very, very safely soaking.
Yeah.
So right now, I mean, is there really a place to be doing the split pushing? I guess if you're a team of 5, but you're not actually doing any type of scrims and you're just kind of queuing, then yes, just to get those quick games in. But other than that, I mean, scrim wise and solo queue wise, see, now I kind of disagree because solo queue wise, I actually really like to go split push because yeah, my team might engage and be silly about that. However, if I get a fort and then teleport back and I can defend just well enough that they don't get a fort, then I always find that that's kind of...
I just find there's more fun.
I always love having like double or triple the XP of one person on my team when I'm solo queuing. Just be like, yeah, I don't even belong in this league. I should be up in platinum and you in... That's how I talk when I solo queue too.
This guy.
I believe it.
That's something I actually would like to talk about in a future episode. Maybe next week we can touch on it. But I think that... the maps are maybe a little small and they kind of don't promote split pushing. And I'm really hoping that the next map or couple of maps we get in the alpha or beta, whatever stage it's in at that point, I hope we see maps that do kind of allow that. Because right now it is all about team fighting. It's all about playing safe, soaking, and then team fighting for the objectives. And that's just every map is that every time.
What's
up?
We'll go ahead and finish your thought.
I think I lost it, but
you should know better. Jake is tired.
It's okay. Onwards.
Well, speaking of maps that don't have the best split pushing design, let's talk about the new Haunted Mines and what we think about that. Beautiful segue, right, guys?
So good.
Damn, so glorious.
So it's been what, 2-3 weeks? 2 weeks since the Haunted Mines revamp.
Yeah, you're learning to talk like me.
Yeah,
we're doing bare naked ladies.
The jungle got completely reworked. I think the beneath or the underground, it's the same, right? It didn't
It is
change
the
at all?
exact same. The only change is the whole like more skulls go to the big guy.
Yeah.
The actual layout is still identical, which I think is a problem.
Well, let's just dive into it. Is that your biggest complaint about the map, DunkTrain?
Yeah, I actually think that the underground is still too large. I really like what they did to the top side. I think they made it flow much better, the top side
Agreed
of the map.
completely.
Yeah.
I really enjoy the way the game flows around those positions and the mercenary camps and stuff. I enjoy that. But the underground is still, it's just too big, man.
Yep.
It's so awkward.
Spot on. I mean, the upper level of map is so much better. Like, you can't even compare, like, just the way... Like, it's more risky to be in the jungle because everyone's traveling through those paths, and the watchtowers add so much depth to the map for sure.
Yeah.
The
watchtower positions.
The watchtower position. I love what they've done with all 4 of the Sea Giants camps. They made them a lot easier to team fight around. They're like opened out before they're kind of slow concave.
And the knights. I love the knights.
The knights position is great too
because they're so important on the map that they're like this crucial center point that can be accessed very easily. But at the same time, the watchtowers. I don't think the watchtowers actually cover them.
No, they don't.
They don't. Which is
they only cover the left and
Back
right.
one.
Right.
siege
So,
giants.
it's great, but yeah, I agree with what Dunk said that the mines themselves are way too big still.
They did take a step in the right direction with changing the way the zombies beneath were clustered. I
Yep.
like that.
Yeah,
That definitely improved
that
it a
needs
lot.
to happen faster. Like the first one,
faster.
it's fine. It's fine for the first one, but then like, well, if the game's gone on for like 25 minutes or so, then there's like what 3 or 4 groups, and then the giant one. But like that doesn't happen for a long time. Like that needs to happen way quicker.
I think they just need to trim about 20% of the actual size of the mines down, because it feels like an actual big dungeon where you're going around and you might run into someone. Who knows? Woo! And
That's what they're going for. That's
I
the
know,
feel
but
they want.
I don't like that.
I think I've been saying this for a while. The doors that you go down into, like they should be like above and below where the grave golem is or whatever, and then it's just like a ring around that. That's all it should be. Like it shouldn't take you that long to go from one side to the other. But the way it's set up right now to go from like one door all the way to the other end, it takes forever. But if they just made it a ring, I think that would solve a lot of the issues.
I don't know about the shape, but so what I was gonna say is, it's the only objective that it doesn't feel like you're racing against the other team to get it done, right? Every objective on every other map, it feels like you have this really heavy time pressure on like, oh, I gotta get this done. Not necessarily Dragon Knight, but especially Doubloons and the Tribute. It's like, this happens, I have to deal with it. The Mines, it's like, well, let it do what it wants. They're just gonna sit there, like it's useless unless we have a big advantage or something. And I don't think that's where you want to be with your game, where the objectives of the map is supposed to be like super high priority.
Yeah.
Yeah. I never thought about just making it smaller. I've never really liked the underground at all, but making it about, like Jake said, 20-25% smaller would make it a lot more appealing to go down. What about the design?
They could still make the underground feel like you don't know who you're gonna run into.
Yeah.
But just a little bit less space between everything, and kind of. Yeah. And I think I said this in an earlier episode. Cut the number of skulls down from 100 to 50. Make them a lot more worth something, and actually make it into a fight, because otherwise it's just.
That's a debate though. You cut it down to 50 skulls, and that's really quick to gather 50 skulls, right? And then it puts you in a situation where it's a clear now. Like what Dunk said is it has to be like a race, right? You make it 50 skulls, that's gonna make it a race for sure. But at the same time, I kind of like the mechanic of, okay, well, we can grab knights, we can grab siege giants.
Yes,
so it has that option, that strategic option right now, where without the race factor, it's like, okay, no, we're gonna actually commit to knights, and then we're gonna go down there and kill them and get the boss. Like, so there's a lot of decision making that comes into play with that map that other maps don't necessarily have. Like, they exist, but not to the same extreme extent, really.
Yeah, it's the only map where you can ignore the mine. Like, you have multiple options as it comes to objective. You can be taking merc camps instead of going into the mines and push with that. And I don't like the idea of making the golem more valuable than it already is, because I like having that option where it's situational. Do you go inside the mines, or do you try and win camps, or do you just do team fights? I like being able to
take the camps. The camps are always better.
Yeah, I don't think it's a choice. It's a false choice. There is no choice.
Problem.
You have to do the camps.
Right.
Well, here's the thing. If they get 100 skull golem, then the camps are not as worth it, because 100. No. Because even maybe the first golem is not as great. But if you can get past that first fort and you have 100 skull golem pushing down that lane, that is a big issue.
Yeah, it's different after the first one, but for the first one, you always go.
For the first one, yeah, I mean, but
take knights.
And I think it's actually a really interesting map in another way, because you can time when the golem comes up. I think if you could time that a little bit better, it'd be like where people just don't say, oh, they grabbed 70 skulls, we have 29, let's grab this last one. And I'm just like, come on, guys, just why? Why would you force that on us? But it's interesting because it isn't such a big deal that you can kind of time it a little bit better. It needs to be now, like the Dragon Knight or Doubloons or anything else. It can be time dependent. But yeah, I mean, I agree that I think there's just needs to be better scaling and more of a fight for the skulls, because when it's 46
drop skulls. What if instead of skull collection automatically going into your bank, what if heroes pick them up like coins, and it wasn't until 100 they picked up? If they dropped those, would that make it better?
I don't think
that
so.
just changes the complete design.
Yeah.
Like that just
It does. It does.
That's a completely different map.
I don't
That's
like
then I just feel like it's Blackheart's Bay Part 2.
Yeah, I don't like it. It's just a clone to some extent. It's it's two mechanics at that point. You have to go down a different level and then collect something. I don't like.
So you'd want it to be like a turn, but no, that could be kind of interesting because then you could hang on to it and then, like Kevin was saying, like really adjust the timing of it, like if it's a turn-in type thing.
Ooh, what if? Now this is really wild, a really kind of crazy idea. What if whenever the mines opened, wherever you are on the map, you get teleported to a relational spot in the mines, and everybody's forced into the mines until all 100 are gone?
I think that would actually be really cool.
That would be cool.
That would make it feel like a fight to the death with the enemy team, right? Like you would have a choice of like fight them to the death and then get the skulls after, or like
try and get the skulls
run away from them.
Yeah.
So
anytime you died, like you had like a small little like fountain at the very corners.
I disagree with that so much. You want a little forced arena match.
I like that though, because there's
it's
nothing
a cool
like
idea
that in the game. There's nothing like that in the game. You can always like choose to ignore the objective, no matter what map. Blackheart's Bay, Dragonshire, any map. You can just let's pass up this tribute because we can. We'll get more experience in lane. But if they like kind of force you into a fight, that would be really cool. Like you go into the mines. You either.
So I'm thinking
no one gets out until the skulls are completed.
So I'm thinking about this from like an esports perspective, like a commentator perspective. All right, in 30 seconds we got this big brawl coming up. Who's gonna win? Who's gonna live? It's scripted.
One team's level 20 and the other one's level 15. I think I know which way it's going.
I don't
Snowball changes, Kevin. That doesn't happen anymore.
That can't happen. Yeah, that's more than 3. It doesn't work.
Yeah, Kev.
Hey, we set the record, right? We were 4 levels behind the other day.
With our specialist team, yeah.
Setting new record.
We did it.
So I like the idea. It's kind of cool, but you'll never see it on that map because I think they're too attached to the idea of having the ability to choose between the levels and like strategy of sending who to send down, who to keep up. It's never going to happen on that map.
And Chat actually made a good point about Abathur and Murky being really bad in that situation, so that's correct.
That's also true, yeah.
Abathur getting teleported down would be awesome.
Yeah, that would be sweet. Yeah.
This is your fault. You picked Murky.
Well, yeah. Without completely redesigning the map, the only positive change I can see them easily doing would be, shrinking the size of the mines.
Yeah, I think that's the most realistic one.
Now let's talk about the golems and like the siege giants, or whatever you want to call them themselves. Are you okay with the balance based on how many skulls? Do you think they need to be tweaked again? Either more health, a little bit more damage, or do you think they're fine based on how many skulls you get with what they do?
The first one needs to be stronger, and then I think it actually scales pretty well afterwards because, like Kevin was saying, you've probably already taken a fort at that point, so it becomes a high priority to defend it. But the first one needs to be a little bit more imperative to take, so that taking knights and then the giant camp that's right after it isn't like the best option every time.
I kind of wish the Grave Golem had a new ability, a different ability, where it was kind of like, you guys ever play Marvel? And Hulk's got that thing where he picks up the ground and like throws it in front of him. Something like that. Something like that does damage in a line in front of him. That really puts ridiculous pressure on your wall.
Could be, yeah.
Like instead of a damage tweak, cool. Like something that just gives him like crazy pressure. Because right now he's got that stun and he pushes back. Creep waves and all that stuff really well. But something that just gives him that additional pressure to structure specifically, because he should be terrifying. You should be like, holy crap, we have to stop that. Like.
He is scary later.
What if
when he has a ton of health?
Yeah, when he's standing right next to your palace, and he's got 100 skulls, then you're like, oh well.
Until then, he's not scary.
What if he's got the knockback ground slam thing? What if at different tiers of skulls, he gets a new ability? Like at 20, when you get 25, he gets the rock slam. When at 50, he gets like some stupid throw or something. At 75, make him a more higher priority based on how many skulls you get. Obviously, you want to get as many skulls as possible, but if you don't have 25 skulls at least, your golem sucks because he doesn't have the slam at least or something like that. You think that would make him a little better?
Yeah,
that'd be really cool. That would add a lot of depth and.
Of course, it depends on how they balance those abilities.
But then there's strategy like we want 50 skulls for this ability because we only want this ability or whatever. Or you can make a target. And if we get this one more skull, oh my god, we secured this ability, or we missed it by one skull. It creates like a little bit more story, a little more Even from like an esports perspective, that'd be pretty cool.
For some reason, I just started imagining Apollo just like yelling in his British voice, "Oh no, they didn't get 49!" or something like that.
I mean, that's cool. That's exciting, and it creates another storyline, another like level of depth to it. So I like that idea.
You know what is an ability that would actually be quite scary is if he had a sort of like a toss, like a backwards toss, like he grabs a hero and throws it over his head.
Oh,
Yeah, double overpower.
dunks.
Yeah, some just something where like a reverse Dragon Knight, where instead of picking him forward, he just grabs you and tosses you back over his head.
I think that'd be like something that'd be like 100 skulls though.
Yeah, but that would be super scary. Like that's the type of thing that we need to see. I think.
Or he just throws siege giants at your tower.
Just spawn siege giants.
That's when you break the game and accidentally get over 100 skulls.
I bet you bottom dollar their original idea was they were gonna have, for every skull you got, you made this massive army of zombies that would like kind of pop up. So if you got 100 skulls, you had 100 zombies.
Oh my god!
But they found out that the engine just couldn't handle 100.
I found out that you don't get it. You're watching a slideshow when that happens. That's what
Exactly.
you found out.
But how cool! I mean, like I was just kind of thinking about that. I was like, why would they have that mechanic, like the mechanic that they have?
Yeah.
Unless, you know, because like maybe I don't know. It seems like it's really weird to have to go down, collect skulls to spawn one grave golem, but everybody gets a grave golem even if you didn't collect any skulls. Very benevolent necromancer, whoever he is. Who's power
He works for cheap, man. He works for cheap.
and yeah, I don't know. It seems really weird. Anyway, yeah, I really have no idea how to fix the grave golem, and I'm kind of out of ideas, and maybe just skip this map when it comes to
Competitive play.
Insta
That'd
ban.
be such a shame, though.
No, they
like,
can tweak it.
The
They can fix
idea, like, I think the idea is good. I just don't think it's there yet. It just needs tweaking.
It
Alpha
is
is
something that's
alpha.
difficult.
The thing is, though, is none of the maps sound like. I honestly don't think we're gonna keep maps forever. It sounds like maps are always gonna be retired.
Retired,
absolutely.
rotating, yeah, for
Or
sure.
rotating
StarCraft
retired,
2
either or,
style.
yeah.
StarCraft 2 style.
Which-
That sounds fantastic.
Yeah, I agree, 100%. But
And we'll have Cloud Kingdom.
I
That'll stay
really-
around for way too long.
like I think the upper level is good. I think it's in a good place now. But the core mechanic, like we said, still needs to be tweaked.
They're a lot closer than where it started.
Oh,
If you guys
God.
can think back
yeah.
to like
Oh,
how it was
God.
when the game first released. It was awful.
Yeah.
Just the way everything worked was just like the top was like really clunky, the layout, like the skulls, nothing was working. But so they're slowly getting there, and I think they will find that sweet spot soon enough.
So, ignoring the mines and the skulls and the golems, you guys are completely happy with the upper level of the mines right now?
Yeah, I have no complaints.
Very
there.
happy with it. There's actually a lot of like really cool interactions with like where the watchtowers protect flanks and stuff. I think it's actually really good.
It's a really fun map to like try to counter push to. I like to play Murky on that map. I like
it's
to
fun
backdoor
Murky
in that map. There's a million places to hide your egg, and then just throw pufferfish all over the place. So it's a lot of fun for that kind of stuff. For sure.
Have you ever played the meta and hidden your egg in the mines?
I have actually.
I value not dying.
I
on
put
Murkies.
my egg in the enemy's base as often as I
No,
can.
I mean like between like right after they grab like the last goal, or if they're still fighting for skulls, you just put your egg just a little bit tucked away, right next to the first door, and you can just kind of spawn in the middle of the map.
Yeah, and then when you're fighting in a lane and someone's like running away through the mines, it's like, oh well.
yeah, and then
I
they
was
see it,
stupid.
but I mean, you know, your egg is
It's cool. I mean, that map's already got a ton of places.
it's
to hide,
cheeky.
so-
It's a cheeky move. Who knows if it's actually going to
It's
work?
a bad
I like it.
cheeky move,
I
Kev. It's a
certainly
bad
don't
one.
think it's good, but it's funny.
Okay. Okay.
Fine.
I can
cool,
agree with that.
Whatever.
Fine. Yep. That's
I'm gonna find my own show.
Rip.
All right, well, that's our Haunted Mines discussion, guys. We're going to go to a quick commercial break. When we get back, we're going to do Kubi's questions. We're going to talk about compositions a bit, and then you guys can drill Dunk Train with all your questions. This is Town Hall Episode 17. See you guys in a few minutes.
If you are listening on the audio only, you can catch Town Hall live at 9 o'clock Eastern Time on Tuesdays at Twitch TV/Zoya TV. And if you are tuning in on iTunes or audio only, you can always subscribe on iTunes by searching iTunes for Town Hall Show. Thank you very much.
DunkTrain Reskype. Welcome back to Town Hall episode 17. We're going to waste no time. Corey, it's time. Whoa, look at that. Look at that wrong scene, Jake. Oh, my goodness.
Oh.
If you guys, if you have anyone who watches or listens to the audio only about, if you have aspirations to be a producer for any major company such as MLB, see what it takes here. You can watch Town Hall live, and it doesn't take much.
Goodness.
Anyway, let's take it away. Jake, do you have the image file ready?
Oh God, I'm just looking at it.
So I didn't. Yes, thank you. I was about to ask you for a proper introduction.
Oh, I don't think I have it on this slide. Oh,
You are the worst.
is this it? It's it.
Kubi's questions.
Wait,
That's excellent.
It's not next to Kubi.
Yeah.
So
you're
Kubi,
right.
introduce us to your questions.
Kubi's question.
Actually, introduce us to the feline in front of you.
Maybe. Check this cat out. Really the greatest cat. You ask any of my friends. This is the best cat. Turns non-cat lovers into cat lovers. She has a special ability. Jake, you've met Baby, right? Yeah.
That like
have
a
I
racial
met her?
trait, or
What's that?
was that rolled? Was that what? Did that trait come with her class, or was that with her?
Yeah, that's just.
Face,
It's a
or-
level
That's
10
an
talent,
innate,
actually.
a native.
It's a
Oh, is
level
it?
10
Oh.
I think so.
Oh, she
Is
knocked
that a
herself over. She got
charisma
scared.
roll?
She
I
got
don't-
scared. She knocked something off my desk. Typical cat fashion.
All right, Kubi.
All right.
take it away.
Kubi's questions. Kubi's questions is where I get to ask the rest of the hosts and our special guests difficult questions, the thought-provoking questions, ones that they don't know about ahead of time. So you guys have no idea, except when Jake, of course, does mega production value and just shows everybody the pictures ahead of time. Thanks for that, Jake. So moving in, actually, we'll start off with the one that I was trying to segue into that I didn't even know about, that I was racking my brain on. Bribe, 60 stacks, broken.
Is this
What
the
do you
right
guys
one?
think? No, don't even bring that up right now. Are you listening? Did you
sat
listen?
through with
Gosh, this is the worst. All right.
Bribe, 60
Stacks up
Even-
front. What do you guys think?
I'll start
Even
this.
with...
Oh.
Okay, go ahead, DunkTrain. Go ahead.
So, I think we can all agree that since the change to bribe, it has been not taken very often, correct?
Correct.
Almost never.
Okay,
Yeah.
so it went from game-breakingly broken to not good, so there has to be a middle ground. So I think it might be time to start looking for the tuning point where it's right, and I think 60 stacks might be a good way to go for it.
Now, I was thinking in terms of Abathur, because that used to be Abathur's strength, was the ability to collect bribe points from 2 lanes, get bribes really fast, and then teleport to a camp, take it, push with your team. That used to be awesome. Now they went from making that a really strong strategy to impossible.
Even then, though, that's still not a good thing, because you can get 40 stacks with Abathur and do the Giants.
Yeah.
You
But
get
even if
Giants.
you do 60 stacks,
It doesn't
you still
fix
can't do
Abathur's
Knights. How's Abathur
Yeah.
going to do Knights? Like, he has to use the
can-
Spawn
he can-
Locust and,
Yeah,
like...
can he set up a locust nest
Jazz
underneath
hands.
the wizard?
Jazz
That's
hands.
at level
Jazz
16,
hands.
though.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
So even then, it still doesn't change that. Though I do agree that 60 stacks would be a good starting point to figure out if Bribe's going to be useful again. I think the meta is besides split pushers, the meta is just becoming more and more team fight focused. Where everyone's roaming as 5 now, especially post 10, where I think Bribe's becoming less and less like the way you get bribe. Like maybe incorporate a way where you can get some bribe stacks or hero kills, but even at 60 stacks, there are very few heroes where I would still see myself taking bribe on, even with the 60 stacks.
Now, what if...
Because 60 stacks doesn't really make any sense. I mean, yeah, 3 knights, okay, that's great, but then you still have 2 knights to get. So that's one whole ability. I'm sorry, you only have the mage.
Just
I'm
the
sorry.
wizard. Also,
You can kill the wizard
strong.
really fast with a lot of heroes.
Yeah.
That's the whole thing I was thinking of.
All right, so even if you have, all right, but the wizard, I don't know, it seems weird. And then you could set up things like where you, if you're as Abathur, maybe put like 8 toxic nests underneath one of the siege giants. Go to one siege giant's spawn, get both of them, then go to the other one and grab the last one, and now you have a 4 siege giant push.
That would be cool. I would love
That
to
seems
see that.
narrow. I see what he's saying. That seems very narrow. But I mean, is then there an argument to be made like, well, if 60 stacks won't fix it, like, how far do you have to go, or is it even worth keeping in the game? Like,
Yeah.
Even then,
what's the
though,
point?
60 stacks is a lot you have to save up for.
You have to
That's a
stay
lot
in
of
lane
time
forever.
Yeah, like
that's a long time.
no
Now-
one's in lane that long anymore. Even like unless you're split pushing, like people roaming now. I think
So-
there needs to be a change to how you get stacks of bribe.
You think
to where it makes
you
sense.
think 45 stacks?
No.
And then
No,
and then
60 is not enough.
No. And then
Oh, I
15
see.
cost per bribe.
Oh, that's interesting.
That's interesting.
That might be a
Oh
good
yeah,
way
I
to
see.
go with it.
Okay. Oh, my bad.
So
Okay,
you
that's-
reduce the cost of each bribe. But it would
They
be-
would have to change bribe around like as the meta evolves to where like certain heroes like they become better split pushers. Like I still just you never look at a map like Blackheart's Bay. You're almost never in lane. It's just a constant roaming map. You're doing jungles and stuff, but you're never like no one's unless like early game you have someone sitting top lane.
Yeah. I mean,
Plus,
for the
no
split
one's
first
pushing
five
already is I mean, that's just exactly what we were just discussing. Split pushing is already pretty dead for a lot of reasons, anti-snowballing being one of them, the bribe nerf being the other. So I think they do need to start buffing bribe because I don't know if they're actually going to change anything on.
How do you?
Yeah, but I mean, they need to make it easier for those bribe stacks to come, and I think maybe 15 stacks would not actually be a bad idea.
15 cost per.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
Or
just
15 per stack, yeah.
I think you need to get like even if it's just 1 or like 2 stacks. I think you need to get some through hero kills. That would make it a little bit more. But then you'd
Is
have to
that too
take it away from
snowbally?
a lot of heroes, though.
Is that too snowbally? Like, then you're saying like, oh, you want a team fight, you also got bribes. Now you can go get extra mercenaries. Now you can do all this stuff. Like,
Yeah,
that's
I
a
agree.
lot of
I
messing
agree.
with the
I
game
agree.
economy at that point.
Yeah.
That's a
What
good
if
point.
what if it was something that allows you to collect 1 bribe point over the maximum?
Wait, what?
Each
Like-
kill, you mean your bribe count goes
Oh,
up?
you mean
Like,
Over
so,
the maximum.
So if the maximum was 40, it would become 41 with each kill you're part of.
Oh yes, if the max is 4,
That
or
seems
maybe
even
make
then,
it,
though,
or maybe
that's
scale
not
it
ever
to 2,
relevant.
or maybe
Yeah.
scale it to 2 or something over the maximum. So then if you have an Abathur that's actually participating, he would be able to go to a night camp and just completely take it.
I
just
guess
feel
that's
like-
because it's Abathur.
I just feel like it wouldn't make
Yeah.
enough of a
But it
difference.
doesn't-
Like
Yeah.
think of like you get bribe on a lot of heroes, like Stitches. You get it on like Witch Doctor. Like you have to think of every possible hero you can get it on, and will it
Right.
that specific change be helpful to all of these at once? You don't want to just fix it for Abathur. You want to fix it for every hero.
Yeah.
No, that's true. That's fine.
You could make
but
it
I
an
mean, it's not like
Abathur
those
only
guys.
talent.
I mean, that's about where it's at right
I
now.
mean,
No
like-
one else
No, it's
takes
not
it.
even there. No one uses it.
Yeah, no one uses it. I don't think a 2-minute timer would fix it.
And
Chat.
like timers or talents for single heroes are like already like Merklord. That's a Gazlo only talent right now. You
Yeah.
know, it wouldn't be the end of the world if they just made Bribe an Abathur only talent
Yeah.
and catered it to him. Like I would not be upset with that, but I would before Bribe was broken. Like it was
Yeah,
just
no question. No
It's
question.
destined for so much more
But
than being a single hero.
God, imagine if bribe
But
was
I
like
think
this
it was.
when
I
Murky
think it was
came
so
out.
broken because we were. I mean,
Actually.
Alpha was still really new. Mercs were doing a lot, and there were no anti-snowballing changes, so split
with-
pushing was actually very useful. Now that doesn't matter how far ahead you get, your enemy team is not that far behind you. Does bribe really change that much anyway?
well, look at Dragonshire. You have 2 people run bribes, you got double knights instantly, and you have a massive push top lane.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
it was a problem before.
Absolutely.
It's-
Yeah.
And it was a no-brainer to get, even on Haunted Mines. You just bribe the knights. And
Yeah.
you have
It was a
massive
no-brainer
advantage.
everywhere.
Yeah, you're
Like,
right. You're right.
Bribe
You're
was
right.
just way too good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
All right.
I don't know what changes could be made on like a whole level that will make it at least an option for more than one hero. It's
Yeah.
it's such a
lot.
finicky like talent that it can either be like not impactful when you change it or grossly like ridiculous when you change it. You have to. It's definitely going to be hard for them to find that perfect balance.
I do think it's about time that they started tweaking with it, though. It's been long enough.
Yeah, it's been long enough. I would agree.
No one takes it.
Yeah.
Start tweaking the numbers.
I
think
agree.
It's time. Okay, that's cool. That was a good discussion. All right, Jake, bring up picture 1.
Picture uno.
Oh, there's more than one picture. Snap.
Perhaps we'll see if we have time for it. We'll see. We'll see.
Okay.
Picture 1. Picture 1. What's the deal with this thing, guys? You know this thing, this area. What is the
All
deal
right,
with
so what are we looking at? We're looking at the Booty Bay.
That is the Booty Bay Watchtower.
Booty
The
Bay
Smiley
famous
face.
Booty Bay
Black Earth Bay Watchtower at the very top of the map. That's also a smiley face.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm gonna throw some numbers at you guys just so that we have some discussion points.
Oh,
to
wow,
discuss.
numbers,
Okay,
too.
so out of the gate, 12 seconds in, you guys can be at the Watchtower. That's just how it works. Like if you just run right there. 30 seconds in, the first wave of creeps clash and they start fighting, and then 50 seconds in is when the chests spawn. So, what's the deal with this? Everyone runs there in the beginning. Is that actually necessary?
A meta that bad Blizzard employees started.
yeah. But now everybody does it.
No, I think people are doing it less now.
The call outs.
Less.
I mean, so here's the thing, though. It is a really fun spot to get possibly 300 to 600 XP ahead of your opponent, and 300 XP is how much you get with a kill in the beginning of the game.
Smart teams have stopped rushing. Like in like when you do scrims, you send one person bot, you send 3 people mid, and you send 1 person top. You don't really, unless it's a 4v4 that you think you can win, you really don't go messing with the Watchtower like in scrims.
Yeah, but there's nothing else to be doing at that time.
Well,
That's
why
true.
risk it though? Like if you have the better 4v4, however, like you said, there's that time frame you talked about.
Yep.
Why would you send 5 people there? Because by the time you send 1 person bottom, they're going to have missed out on a little bit of experience that if the other team sent 1 person down there.
What if you got
They
a
will
false
have-
head?
Well, I mean, all that comes down to comp then. But
Okay,
for like
alright.
just a straight up simple like 5v5, you should be sending 1 person bottom, and then you should be like very safe about how you approach the Watchtower. Don't just run in head first, or
Of
you're going
course, of course. But like, how strong do you guys feel like that vision is that everybody
0.
just goes up there?
Oh,
and
it's a big deal. It's a big deal. You can
Okay.
keep, like, especially late game. You can keep track of when they're doing the siege giant top. You know, those 2 pirates there.
Well, okay. I'm just tailoring this discussion to that initial rush in the
At
very
the
beginning.
initial
level
rush.
1, so you're saying as soon as the game starts, everyone rushing there. I think there's 0 value to be had of actually controlling the Watchtower, but I think it's super fun and it's just fun.
Okay.
Like there's
fun.
nothing
It really
else to do
is.
because even if you die there, you're not guaranteed to lose the coins because there's enough time for you to revive with a level 1 death timer and get back. So it's like a super low risk, just like fun way to like feel out your opponent. And I think it's not the worst thing ever, but nobody's
Just
gonna
need
do
to
it in
change.
competitive.
Yeah.
It doesn't need to change. It's fun, but
Mhm.
there's no value in rushing that Watchtower.
Yeah, definitely not.
Well, I mean, there is some value. Again, you can get 3 to 600 experience, depending if you get 1 to 2 kills.
Yes, but you also
Ahead.
risk doing that. In a
Okay, all right,
5v5, like where
It really does come down to composition, because if you see like they have a stitches, then, which I mean, any real team will, then yeah, you're gonna be in a bad spot. If they land a
Any-
hook,
team's gonna
Discussion
have
aside,
stitches,
don't even
that is a
comment on that,
horrible
Jared.
thing to
Jared,
say.
no, Jared, no, don't derail, please.
Kevin's trying to say
what? But I
Any-
mean, like,
it's not gonna have a stitches. Like that's not like a guaranteed thing a real team will have. That's a silly thing to say. Just he's not a bad hero, but
All right. So wait, so this watchtower that gives you a vision of the grass that's just below.
Such grass.
That,
Yes.
That is pretty useful for taking that top chest, no?
no.
No, we
It's a
don't know
little
what's going
far. The creep wave is also between that brush and the chest, so you're not able to leverage much pressure
That's a good
from
point.
that at all.
My favorite is when Murkies put their eggs in that grass and they think the tower can't see it. It's just like, wow, come on, guys.
what MMR are you at?
Yeah, no.
I haven't seen it in a
Super
while. I haven't seen it
Paper
in a
bag
while, but
MMR.
This grass.
I mean, the watchtower is obviously important past the minute mark.
Yeah.
But for that initial rush, like unless you have the better team composition and you know you can win that fight and you know they're going to go for it, I mean, just avoid it. Just go to lanes and soak that experience.
Okay. All right. Any other thoughts on that? I got another picture for Jake to pull up if he can.
man.
If he can,
The preparation.
if he can muster the production ability to pull that up. Oh, boom! Look at that. That's Curse Hall. You guys know this very well, of course. So let's brainstorm. Let's brainstorm some ways that we can make this less random. Particularly, again, with the opening gambit. I feel like if the tribute spawns on your side, that gives you a huge advantage because typically in that first fight, there's enough, or there's a low enough cooldown on your death that you can get back into the fight. But if you're closer, you don't have to run across that extra bit of map. Then I feel like there's a big advantage for one of the teams or the other. So let's sort of talk about how can they fix that. Should they just move away from a randomness? Like, should they show you where it's going to show up way in advance? Or let's get some.
It's a really weird. It's hard to like change that without it being really weird. Like it's completely RNG based, and like there are times like let's go do our siege golem, and then hopefully we have time to get to the tribute, and then the tribute spawns 2 feet away from you, and all 5 of you are there, and it's like. Oh, okay, we have a huge advantage now. Or it spawns on the other side of the map, and it's like, well, you know, we're kind of like it is a problem, but I think having I don't see a way of it being fixed spawns without it being boring. Like the randomness does add something to the game, but it's not something you'd want in competitive play. And a fixed spawn rate, like it's going to spawn top left first always, and then it's going to spawn bottom right second always. Like that's kind of boring. So I don't know.
No, I don't think people want to see that.
Yeah.
I really don't know what they can do to change it without making the map extremely...
Okay. How do you feel about them increasing the amount of time that they warn you about?
I think that's reasonable.
Because right now, I think they give you about 5 seconds before the actual tribute spawns. Is it? Probably is.
It's not very long. It's maybe 10 seconds.
I don't like the fact that the actual time that it starts to spawn is also on an RNG. So you don't know when you're going to be ready for it.
Okay.
You're just like, it's 2 minutes, I think. Maybe in the next 20 seconds.
Is it actual RNG though?
Yeah,
or is it like
RNG.
after the last one harvested a certain amount of time?
Well, so I think that too.
It's from 2 minutes after, like with a 45-second window.
Ew.
Yeah. Okay. For the first one,
like
it
will always
it can either spawn
2:15 and 2:45 after, but it'll be in that window. So it's RNG really.
I don't like that
at
all.
Heroes. Gather my
I agree completely.
That's interesting because they've put so much effort into having 0 RNG anywhere else.
Yeah,
like there's no percent to miss, no percent
there's
to
no crits.
Yeah,
there's
no RNG anywhere, and just like throw RNG into that map mechanic feels so awkward to me.
Yeah.
Everything about it.
I don't know anyone that actually likes especially the timing part of it.
It can be like.
I don't really mind the positional as long as one of the RNGs has to go. That's I think the only problem here because if you're in lane and you have no idea when this thing's gonna spawn, you're like, all right, well, should I go get fountain now? Should I wait a minute? Do I go back?
Even if the time's fixed, like you know it's going to spawn exactly 2 minutes after you capture it.
Yeah.
Even then, though, the major problem is where it spawns in randomness. Like you could be doing like we said before, it can spawn right on top of you, and you have a Gazelle on your team who can instantly set up turrets.
Oh God!
Instant advantage where you're basically like set to win that tribute. Or if it spawns on the other side of the map and they're there, like it's kind of like.
And you're a Sergeant Hammer.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh,
that's the biggest problem. That's why I've started going middle lane with Sergeant Hammer is because if you're bottom lane or top lane and it's on the other side of the map, it's like, all right, guys, you guys
I feel like
go get that one. I'll stay up here.
That is
like
Hammer.
But if it's near you, then you can throw down a whole bunch of spider mines, just like you can do with Gazlo, or it's just so weird.
I don't know how to fix it without it being a dumb map.
Yeah.
I think making the timer set so that it's consistent by having the location be a bit more random. I think it's a good start.
But then I guess like in that situation, like we know it's going to spawn in 10 seconds, but we're doing the giant. We're taking that risk that it could spawn on the other side of the map. So that does give a little bit more of like, do we risk it or not? So there is more strategy involved in a fixed time, but still the random spawning is kind of frustrating.
What if it was a little bit less RNG. So let's say, instead of 3, because 3 is actually a really weird number for the amount of spots that are there. I mean, there's 6. Yeah, it's okay. It's divisible. What if we made it like 4? What if we made 4 tributes to get a curse?
Oh, that's what you're saying.
I thought you meant 3 on each side.
No.
And instead, every time it spawns at one spot, the next time it's going to spawn at the exact mirrored spot.
Again, you're removing RNG.
That makes it a boring map. Though. That just makes the first.
No, I mean, like, so the first one will be RNG, so it could be one, any of the 6, and then the next time though, it's going to be fixed at the next spot.
I'd be okay with it being top or bottom, and then alternating.
Yeah, and then that. Well, I mean,
but
that's
not necessarily the
not exact
but then
mirror.
That becomes an advantage for the team that, like, if it's going to spawn top and your Grey Golem's top.
Oh, you're right. No, you're
that's
right.
a huge advantage for that team.
Yeah, I completely forgot about that. Never.
Yeah,
Just
you're very. That's very true. I don't know. I don't think there's an easy way to fix it.
It is a problem,
I also don't
I think.
Yeah, it's a little weird, but I don't know if it's broken enough that it's a serious problem.
Yeah,
I agree.
it's not like... It's just a map that whenever more maps get into play, we will not be choosing that one for competitive.
Yeah,
right.
Yeah, I agree.
Which, it's not necessarily a bad thing, because it is a fun map to play on, like, just stylistically, and, like, the Curse is very fun, but for competitive play, if there's 7 maps and we want 4 in the pool, Curse Hollow will not be one of them.
Definitely not, but, like you said, though, I love playing it on ladder. I just wouldn't want to play it on competitive format.
How do you guys feel about the first point that I brought up, or the first tribute being on one side or the other? Giving a big advantage to the team that it's closest to for the very first tribute, where your spawn timer is really low. You can just get back into the fight much faster.
Yeah, I mean, that's
also
true.
Quick solution would be that it has to spawn middle, first one.
They'd have to redesign the layout of the map a bit, then.
Okay.
So by middle, you mean either this one or this one?
Yeah. The ones that are down the middle axis of the map. Yeah. Okay, that makes sense.
That first tribute is so weird, though. Like, there's so many weird things about that fight that I don't know if that's actually, like, if that matters that much.
In scrims and stuff a lot, too, people, like, a lot of teams you'll see, like, we're going to skip the first tribute because
you see a lot of whoever it spawns closer to, basically, they give it to them because it's not worth giving up the XP to try to get it, is what we're seeing right now.
Yeah.
Which is an inherent map design problem, I think. But
then, and it does actually create this really interesting balance of, all right, well, are they not going to go try and take it? So should we only send one person and still soak XP? Or if they send all 5, then we have to soak XP, but we should send all 5 as well. So then it becomes this really weird, like, gamble of, like, do we try to go get more XP, or do we try to actually get a team fight and be really far ahead?
To be honest with you, with the reverse snowball mechanics, I don't think soaking XP is actually really that necessary, because you fall behind a little bit.
Well, on this map, it's still a big deal.
No,
like, not about
getting 10 first is a big deal.
Getting 10 first, exactly.
Yeah,
getting 10 first is a huge deal.
Especially,
but if you can secure the first tribute is still, like, just so important that it doesn't make it as impactful. If you can secure that first tribute, you don't need to soak as much, because...
But if you get one level from just ignoring it,
but
that could be the
deciding factor. If you do fall behind on experience, and then you get the first one, then you get the second one, they hit 10 for that third one, and then they keep that momentum going after winning the third one, and then they win the next 3.
You're right.
Well, I mean, their momentum being 2 levels ahead. For the rest of the game.
Right.
Yeah. Sorry, I've been really salty.
It's just that map got, like, this, like, kind of an awkward position where balancing it is going to be weird.
Yeah. For sure.
You don't want to break the map. You want it to be fun.
How do you guys feel about sending harassers? So
always.
No. You're pretty sure that they're gonna, because it's on their side for the first tribute, they're gonna send everybody just to go take it, just to secure it. You guys split up and you take one person in each lane, then send harassers just to stall as long as possible. Is that the general meta?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, it depends on who you have, though. Like, Malfurion is really great at doing that because he can run away with roots. He can poke with Moonfire, like, consistently. Demon Hunter is really good at poking with her Q. There's a lot of... you have to be very, very careful with who you send. You have to... you don't want... If they get caught, then, you're soaking all that experience, and then they got that free kill, and now it didn't really matter. So you got to be really careful with how you send the pokers. But that is what a lot of people do.
Okay.
I mean, there are heroes who definitely excel at that, too. Like, you look at someone like Malfurion or Tyrande who have long-range harass, they're really safe to do it with.
Yeah.
A lot of the time.
Yeah, but anytime you play with a poker, you're going to be gambling.
Poker
oh my
face.
god. All right.
Oh, wow.
See you guys later.
I'm sorry. As soon as you said poker, I was just like, yeah, that is a gamble. Anyway.
Eyes light up. Oh, wow. Okay. That's it for Kobe's questions. Thank you, guys. That was good.
Yeah,
good
discussion. Good work this week, Kobe. I like the effort you're putting into it.
Oh.
Makes it a lot of fun.
Yeah, I like that production value. My paint skills.
All right. Is that what you just posted in chat, like topic when you talk about DunkTrain?
That is a topic I was thinking about, if you're interested.
All right, well, go ahead and lead us into it, man. DunkTrain came up with a little idea, guys.
So this is my take on everybody's like really revolting against the anti-snowballing stuff, and I just wanted to play devil's advocate a little bit here, and this is kind of something I've been doing other times as well. But if you look at other genres, like fighting games, for example, the person who's on lower health does not have an inherent disadvantage in combat stats. And I was wondering why everyone is feeling so viscerally against this genre moving in that direction, because we're looking at a movement in the genre from like the long-term farm gameplay towards a Blizzard's trying to call it hero brawler. I mean, whatever they want to call it, the genre, it's changing quite a bit, right? Farm is not as relevant. You're not looking to get that kind of long-term type advantage. So why is it that people really want to see snowballing in the game? What's wrong with having the teams be equal with small edges? I just want to talk about that.
This is a comparison that I think works really well. Comparing it to Hearthstone, you have decks that are just, you want to win real quick, like a Zoo Rush deck. You have to win with this deck within a certain amount of time, or you'll lose to, like, you know, you'll just lose because you don't have the momentum going like that. There are, eventually when the game gets more heroes in it, you can have like a composition that's designed around winning fast. Like Kerrigan, she's really good at just securing kills early game. Arthas is the same way. You build comps that are just, excuse me, you want to win within 12 minutes. The anti-snowballing changes hurts those a lot. And that just kind of takes out a lot of creativity in like specific tracks, like especially in competitive play. You know, like Evil Geniuses for a while, they were known for just like turtle styles in League of Legends. They would always go to the late game, you know, and people would snipe them with these really fast end gaming quick comps. When you put in the anti-snowballing change, it takes away from that being able to, you know, end as fast as you want to. You know, that's just one reason why I see it. I think I'm leaning more towards the I'm okay with it now, but that is a reason why I can see why people are upset about it. It does narrow down what you can do with the game based off of specific comp-wise and strategies.
Yeah. So, I mean, I've been talking about that with, like, Sergeant Hammer feels way better this patch because of the game changes where you're always guaranteed the late game. So, do you think they could adjust for that, leave the anti-snowballing in so the game never feels like it doesn't matter, but you can end the game relatively early. Like, the core is not that strong in theory. It's just I don't think there's the hero compositions that exist that let you do that yet. So maybe we could wait on it?
Well, I mean, I don't want to say...
I don't know. I don't even know if there's many compositions that can take out the Palace anytime soon. The Palace is an incredibly strong structure. I don't know why people think that the Palace is a very weak structure. It only becomes weak at like level 20 plus. Before then, the Palace, like, you can't tank those hits. You can't deal with those hits. You don't have creep waves that'll be there. You'll only have maybe one keep down at that time. And even when you have 2 keeps down, keeping your creeps alive so that they can tank the damage and then you tank the damage plus the enemy team is really difficult.
Yeah, not possible, basically.
So that's why, yeah, maybe later on we're going to have these types of compositions that can sustain throughout that damage and maybe win very early. But right now, it's not there, and right now is what they need to be patching for, unless they're going to be dramatically changing the game. And with the alpha so far, they said they're going to be dramatically changing the game, but not really. And I think this is pretty much close to beta as possible.
So the big thing with the anti-snowballing things that I don't like is when, again, I just esports perspective. Now, if you're casting a game and you're telling the story and you're talking about this clear advantage this team is building, and that's the storyline you're working with because this team is simply outplaying the other team little by little, gaining that experience advantage, that story becomes diluted, and you ruin that aspect of the game with the anti-snowballing things, because if you're saying X team is doing this, I mean, you're saying that for the sake of saying that, but it doesn't actually mean that much when the other team can just win one team fight and be completely back in the game. And as exciting as that is, I like to see good play rewarded. I want to see the better team win every time and not just have this extra factor that is overwhelmingly powerful to just put anyone back in the game at any moment. So I feel like it's a little bit too severe. I think that the anti-snowball thing can exist. I just think not to the extent that it does right now.
All right. Well, let's put it. Sorry to keep ranting. But let's put that into perspective. If you have a better team, they're gonna win every team fight.
But you mess up once, they get the jump on you. I mean...
Yeah, I know, but, I mean, if you're dealing with, like, let's say it's like a Stefano versus a random diamond player, right? You know, talking StarCraft 2, we're talking skill differences.
Right.
Or, you know, an EG EG from League of Legends and they're playing against a challenger team, they're gonna win every team fight no matter what. It's not like it's gonna be like, you know, the rank one, the first set of matches in the tournament and EG's been knocked out.
Okay,
it comes down to those. Go ahead.
Okay, how far apart do the teams have to be before that's true, though?
That's
I mean,
true.
you're saying like pro versus amateur. Like, what if we're talking about like the best pro team versus the fourth best pro team? Should that team win every single game?
Right,
They're not
Cloud9
going to win
versus-
every team
yeah.
fight.
Exactly. That's the exact point I'm trying to make. So
Now,
Yeah, I think he has a point.
what like the thing about the snowball enchant is that this is a massive reason why it was put into the game is you have the DunkTrain stack, you have the ZPS stack, you have the Nick and LZ Gamer stack, you have the God Team stack.
Yeah.
It's not fun when we're even messing around and we're steamrolling all of these people.
but
on
we're
the ladder.
talking about a super limited player pool where there's going to be.
That's exactly why, though.
Yeah,
because it's such
so
a super limited
frustrating.
play pool.
Like, I think it's
Because
too
it's
early
such a
to
small-
put this severe
No,
thing
this is the perfect time for it to be in the game, so people can join the game and see it is fun and not just get steamrolled. The only the priority reason it's in game right now is for that reason.
So you think they're going to remove it?
Oh, for sure. This is not going to be in competitive play. Like I
interesting.
guarantee. Like this is not like stuff I know. Like this is like I haven't been like getting Blizzard emails like Zoya. This is the reason why it's going. But like there's no like they're gonna tone it back for competitive play. Like it's too strong now. We saw that squishy video how much de-healing is.
See,
but as a newcomer to the game, like I have friends who recently got into alpha and they like if it was before, like they were to go against anyone who knew the game at all, like it's just a stomp. That's not, especially with a game that's so team oriented like Heroes.
Right.
You don't like that's not fun.
Immediately discouraged, shut off the game, never played again. Okay. You're right. I can agree with
run this for.
I can agree with that, but after playing Smash 4 this morning, I'm just like I'm real scared. I'm just like that was disappointing, and now I got this anti-snowball stuff on Heroes. It's like, oh come on, my 2 games, they can't fail me competitively. I can't strike out twice, can I? Like,
it might not be completely turned off for competitive delay, but it's going to get toned back.
I'm scared. I'm scared, man.
I mean, no, actually, I think Zoya, I never actually really thought about that. You know, the fact that, but hold on here. Did Blizzard shoot themselves in the foot then? Because they got rid of custom games, so we would have been scrimming.
We know why they got rid of custom games, though.
Yeah, I know.
Still scrimming, though. People are still scrimming.
People are still scrimming,
via ladder.
and they're still like forcing it. But I mean,
you have to look
stacks, Idra's stack, etc. All these stacks that are running around, these stacks being 5-man teams of pre-made people.
Yeah.
You know, if that's their reasoning, then just give us back custom games.
But you know why they took away custom games, though?
Yeah.
Thanks,
Because
Matt.
it's not ready. Cough, cough. Thanks,
Matt.
Steve.
Thanks, Matt. But you have to look at it from the not our perspective. All of us run in these 5 stacks that just, you know, that's all we do. We are the 0.01% of the people in the Heroes of the Storm Alpha. Everyone else is either running by themselves or with, like, another friend. No one else is, like...
We're the 1%. Like, we're not even the 1%. We're the 1% who got into Heroes, and then we're the 1% of that?
Yeah.
Wow, that makes me feel like a terrible person.
We are such a small amount of the people that they can't cater to us in that extreme of a way.
I mean, when you put it that way, it makes me feel a little bit better about myself, but at the same time...
Just
like,
pick me up.
There are 20,000.
I gotta pick me up. I've been shoving peanut butter in my face constantly. I keep putting another slide so I can just stuff my face with peanut butter. I didn't eat dinner and I have no food. Unfiltered.
We are the 1% and the 1% of the 1%. However, we are the 1% of the 1% that play all the time.
Yeah.
And that is why we are, you know, well, not we, but those people, because I'm not dominating, the people who are dominating with these 5 stacks, those are the people that we have to worry about because they're the ones who are playing all the time. Everybody's going to queue against ZPs, against Idra, against DunkTrain, against all these people multiple times.
Yeah, and you want to give them that fighting chance. You want them
exactly.
to not...
That's what I'm saying. It's like, you know, even though we are the 1% of the 1% of the 1% of the 2%.
Well, that's what I've been saying. Like, they're catering to the other 99% by putting the snowballing thing. Like, it won't be... I guarantee it's not... 100% sure it will not be in competitive play. At least it'll be toned back by a lot.
Yeah.
I hope so.
I hope so.
I'd be okay with it. Like,
so.
even if they just tweaked it by like a level, maybe level and a half or something like that, it would be okay. It'd be fine. Like 3 is just.
Yeah.
I'd like to see them move it to 4.
Again, though, you have like I remember for the longest time, like when no one was even hitting each other in the like you'd very rarely like we'd hit DunkTrain stat or we very rarely hit CPS stat. It would just be 20 games in a row of let's run like 4 supports in a Diablo, and then we still steamroll them. That's not fun for people that we're going against.
Hey man, 5 specialists didn't really win us any games.
Yeah, but we did the 4 specialists in a Lily, and we rocked people with that.
That's
so.
true.
That is true.
Yeah.
So you just needed the one healer. That's all we needed. Okay. Good to know. Good to know.
Really, because we needed another mule.
That was a good question. I like that.
Yeah,
That was a really
Very
good
good.
question.
Do we have time for team comps, or do you just want to like start asking DunkTrain questions?
Let's do team comps next week then.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because I think that's actually a really important question. I really want to tackle it soon.
Team
but
comps is
yeah.
more than a 10-minute discussion, that's for sure. So.
Yeah.
All right. So if you guys have questions for DunkTrain, go ahead and post them in the right thread or in chat. If any of the cast members have a question for DunkTrain, I got one. DunkTrain, how long have you had the epic beard?
Dude, I knew that was gonna be the first question. I knew it.
Your camp.
I basically had some sort of a beard for a
He
long,
was born
long
with it.
time. I was not quite, but basically
dad's
since
a
I've been able to
lumberjack.
grow it, I've had it, and I just like it. I don't know, man.
If you weren't a streamer, would you be a lumberjack?
Yeah, absolutely.
Do you
No
own the
question.
lumberjack Uther skin?
God, no. I don't play that hero.
Yeah, he's bad. No, he's not bad, but he's boring.
He's boring. He's not my favorite. So
Yeah.
I understand why he's in the game, but he's not my favorite, so I don't play him. So I haven't bought a skin for him.
Do you condition your beard?
I actually, so I don't use conditioner. I use something called beard oil.
Oh, okay.
Like,
Oh, wow, you are a
like-
serious beard
amazing.
man.
You have to apply beard oil, or else there are issues.
Oh,
but
man.
yeah.
No, so I am okay. This is a really weird thing for me to say, but I'm actually really good friends with most of the Philadelphia beard and mustache crew. So, like, I was just kind of curious on how
Okay.
how you upkeep your beard. I've killed Corey.
Like some people are way intense about it, man. I'm not about that.
Yeah, no, I know those people. They are
Yeah.
really intense.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay,
This is
anyway.
the most I do with beards. I have 2 more days and I'll shave it all off. And
Yo, your kitty is so hyped. She's like, the beard and mustache crew, I want the autograph. Oh, yeah.
Okay, all right. Serious question. Dunk, who do you play with? Like, do you have like a set team that you typically run with, or?
Absolutely not. I typically run with. You'll see in chat OxyGG. I typically run with him a lot.
Okay.
And other than that, I mostly just play with viewers when they log on. Basically, whoever adds me to their party or asks to play first when I get on of the night, I typically end up playing with them until they get off. Like, that's
Okay.
generally just how
you're
I go.
one of the few that will play with anybody. There are a lot of picky people about who they play with.
Yeah, I know.
Who do you play? Who's your main?
Ooh, who's my main?
I mean,
Nobody has a main.
nobody has a main, but who's your favorite? Who's your favorite 2?
No,
Okay,
that's-
so
that's
I'll
still
give
not
2.
fair.
If I want to give my favorite thematically, it would actually be Witch Doctor. I think
Wow.
he's my thematically favorite. I really like everything about him thematically. If we're talking mechanics and who I'm playing, oh, that is a tough question. I have a tendency to just play everyone. I can give you my least favorite.
All right.
Okay, so I absolutely refuse to play Gazlo and Uther.
Wow.
Uther is interesting. I can understand.
Uther, no, I can agree with Uther. Gazlo's the one that shocks me.
I actually...
I
Gazlo's
find
fun
Uther
to play.
fun. I like Uther.
You're weird.
He has so many like little like things that you can be doing all the time. It's like he's got clairvoyance and he's got like I don't know. It's fun like
So,
shield ally, all this stuff. I
Would
like
you
it.
like to elaborate?
It's got so many buttons.
Are you talking to me?
Yeah.
Why elaborate? So I want to talk about Gazlo because a lot of people don't get this unless they watch my stream. They don't know, but I hate Gazlo with a fiery passion. I absolutely hate the design of turret heroes in this game. It's like my one sticking point. I hate it. I hate it. I hate it. I can't stand it. It makes me want to tear my hair out every time I play against a Gazlo because it's like not fun to interact with, and I think that's the problem. Is like you want these characters to be fun to see the interactions with each other, and Gazlo does not bring that to the table with the turrets, and there's so much power, but it's not obvious how powerful they are, and it's just awful. It's just awful in my opinion. So like that's my rant on Gazlo. That's the short version, by the way.
I've never heard somebody so upset about turrets, but that's interesting.
I love Gazlo.
All right.
Question
So, I was going to say 2 questions from chat. The first one, Fate for Med asks, Dunk, do you have a go-to hero when you lost a few and need a win?
I mean, if I ever lost a few in a row, no.
Whoa!
Let's see. If I'm like playing and I really feel like I need a win, a lot of times I'll bust out something like a Falstad or a Tychus. I just feel super impactful on those heroes.
Tychus! Oh man, I'm a big fan of Tychus.
Tycho's so fun.
Tychus is fun. He might actually be my favorite to play mechanically. I love that grenade.
Yeah, grenade is my favorite too. Like getting the right timings right when you're running away from somebody and you like put it just like a step behind you because you know that's gonna hit them back, or
having a dash
chasing after somebody and you're getting them like into a corner or something.
Yeah. I want to see rocket jumping on the grenade, please. Can I have that, Blizzard?
Oh, God.
Oh my God! Would like the grenade would actually? Oh my God!
How sick would that be, man?
That would be an awesome talent.
Holy crap! You just broke the game for me.
Nice.
That sounds so fun.
That's the dream. That's the dream.
We're talking like similar to like Ziggs' bomb, right? Where it propels you.
Yeah.
Okay.
Blazer,
that's what I was.
Blazer.
Okay.
Do you take concussive grenade?
I take every single grenade talent. Melting point, concussive.
The range, you quarterback.
Yeah,
wow.
All of it.
Wow.
All right. Final question for you: do you feel that Heroes stacks up to the other MOBAs, Dota 2 and League?
Oh, that's
and Dawngate. Don't forget Dawngate.
Okay, I would say it does stack up to them because I think that the talent system, as an analogy to items, can be just as robust if given enough time for tuning. Obviously, these other games have a huge head start, regardless of whether their systems are actually that good or not. I want to look at Dota 2. Like, I love the Dota 2 item system, but it's not even arguable that it's way too complex to get into. It's frustrating. It's a brick wall of knowledge you have to learn. Talents simplify it, but make it amazing. And I think that's a huge upside. I think targeting the 20 to 25 minute game length also perfect. It's so much more easy to get into. You're not worried about that 70-minute ranked game and having to leave to go to your grandma's or whatever. Like, that's frustrating. So I think there's a lot of ways that the game does the genre good. I think it's a breath of fresh air in the genre, honestly. And I think there's room for all of them for like the hardcore long game Dota 2 to exist. I think there's room for that and for Heroes in the same world.
Right on.
I can agree with that. So you have a bit of history with both games, or?
Absolutely. I used to play. Okay, so I don't have that much history with Dota 2. I played Dota competitively in scrim leagues, stuff like that on Battle.net. I was in clans. Played that in scrim leagues, and then I moved over to Heroes of Newerth for a while. Played that, and then moved to League when that got big, because like that's where all my friends were, and I just wanted to go play with them. But yeah, I have a lot of experience with the genre.
Okay.
Right on. Well, thanks for coming on, man. This was one of my favorite episodes. I love having guests on, and you added a lot to the conversations, and you sparked a good one with the anti-snowballing discussion. Thanks for coming on. Let's get some shout-outs going. DunkTrain, why don't you go ahead and plug yourself, let the viewers know where they can follow you and watch your stuff.
All right, guys, you can catch me on twitch.tv/DunkTrain. Obviously, I'm going to be going live right after the show. And then catch me on Twitter @DunkTrain. You want to say hi, give a shout-out, see what's up. Always happy to respond to people on Twitter. And that's about it right now.
You got a YouTube?
I do have a YouTube. YouTube.com/user/DunkTrain. LOL. Cough, cough. It won't let me, so I'm stuck. And I get.
Hey man, everybody's just gotta be laughing out loud every time they.
Yeah, dude, I laugh out loud. I'm gonna make my. Yeah, okay, whatever. Not good. Yeah, I do have a YouTube, and I've got some what I feel are at least okay introductory videos for people to the genre. So if you're new to the genre, interested in getting into Heroes of the Storm, I feel like I have some okay content up there for that. And I'm going to be getting some shoutcasting practice and stuff up there too. So if you're interested in hearing some mildly competitive replays getting shoutcasted by a shoutcasting noob, myself, then feel free to check those out as well.
Very cool.
All right. Thanks for coming on. Corey, man, take it away.
Shout outs to my cat. Let's see if she can get it. Oh, look at that. Okay. Yes. All right. Yep. You can follow me at Omega Black Mage, and of course, thank you, Dunk, for coming on. Excellent guest. A lot of discussion going back and forth. I liked it. Yeah, I think that's it for me.
All right, Kev.
Thank you to MLG for hiring me. That's pretty cool.
You're welcome.
You can follow me on Twitch and Twitter @Shamtoo, SCHAMTOO. I think that's it for now. I've stopped doing Plays of the Week because getting all that recorded video content together and then piecing it together and having timestamps for when I actually wanted to put the plays, it was just a lot of work. It was taking like 9 hours every week to do it, even though I only did it for 3 weeks. But once we get replays, when I can actually have game sounds in and all that stuff without, Zoya cursing up a storm over top of the game sounds, is when I'm actually going to start doing the Plays of the Week again. So look forward to that once replays functionality actually exists. So yeah, that's it for me. And thanks to Doc.
Exists in a legal format, but yeah. Soon, TM.
Soon, TM.
Jake, man, take it away.
Same stuff as always. MLG.tv/SolidJake is my stream. I'm not on Twitch. I'm on MLG. I have YouTube.com as SolidJakeGG, and Twitter is SolidJakeGG as well. But I started doing new build order videos. I've only put up one. I have another one coming up probably tomorrow for Brightwing. I think I might actually do 2 Brightwing videos. I might do the Emerald Wind because everybody likes the Bastion Emerald Wind. So I think I'm going to make an Emerald Wind build video because I find it to be super fun to do. I just want to give a shout out to DunkTrain for making my facial hair feel inadequate. I don't think I've ever had a beard that glorious. I've had some pretty nice beards, and my beard has an array of colors.
You've had some pretty nice beard. That is true.
I have some. So I feel like I might actually grow my beard back out just to have a beard battle for our next show when we bring you on. Nice. We'll have you back for sure. Nice. It was great having you. But yeah, that's it for me. Oh wait.
Well, you can...
Wait, MLG Anaheim next week. I gotta plug it again, but this is not only big for MLG, it's our biggest event this year. We have StarCraft 2, we have multiple fighters, we have Smash Brothers Melee, we have Killer Instinct and Injustice, and we have Call of Duty, of course. So please tune in. Jared, you're going, right?
Yeah, man, I'll be there.
Yeah. So
come say hi to the both of us. This is your first time actually being a full-on producer for the event. Right?
I've worked in production, but I'm actually a full-on producer. 1/3 of the tournament is literally my show, so that's
it's huge.
It's phenomenal for me. So
don't mess up.
I'm ecstatic. It's an amazing opportunity. I'm forever grateful that.
Luckily, other people handle the swapping of scenes because
rip. I'm thrilled. It's going to be fun to see you, Jared, because I haven't seen you since
Dallas 2013.
Dallas 2013. It's been the beginning of.
I've never seen Zoya.
Yeah, the beginning of last year. We worked together on the StarCraft 2 stream with Scoots and some other guys. It was a lot of fun, but
that was fun.
It'll be a good show. So yeah, if you're going to be in Anaheim, say hi, and if not, watch the stream. There's 10 streams. That's a first. We have 10 streams at the event.
That's insane.
Yeah.
All right, well, you guys can follow me at IVD Zoya. I think last week I announced, I'm on the IVD's professional Hearthstone team. I think last week announced that since Heroes has come out, I'm going to be trying again to get Legend, and I'm actually doing really well. I definitely think I'm going to be able to get it again this season, so check out my stream. I'll be streaming a lot of Hearthstone, still some Heroes as well.
What rank are you now?
I'm rank 8.
Good.
Getting up there. I don't think anyone's actually hit Legend yet this season.
Probably not.
Because, it takes forever to grind out those games. But if you guys want to follow the show on Town Hall Show on Twitter, yes?
Yes, Town Hall Show.
Yes. You can submit emails, questions, fan art to townhallalliance@gmail.com.
We have a website now. It's at townhallshow.wordpress.com. And you can find this podcast audio only on iTunes and the website, the WordPress website, if you just look for Town Hall Show on iTunes.
Yep, and again, watch the VODs over at youtube.com/SolidJakeGG. Give them a subscribe there. Thanks, everybody, for tuning in. Thank you one last time to DunkTrain for coming on. You were a great guest. Yep. We'll see you guys next week, Tuesday this time. We're only off just today because of Smash stuff, but Tuesday, same time, same place, episode 18. Have a good night, guys.